Good morning, everybody. Edward Leos here, publisher of the Hotel Guide and your host of Travel Talk. Really excited about today's episode because I have my wife with me again in the studio. So happy to have you on the show again, Roxann. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me back. It's always a pleasure.
Well, that's the correct answer. This, again, is probably going to be a little bit unscripted. We had some thoughts, but we like to just free flow things and talking about travel, talking about what's going on with the Hotel Guide. You know, we've gone over or close to 130 episodes now. We got a big summer edition that's going to be launching soon. A lot of great things happening with the magazine in general, and just really excited to sit down with you and let you ask me whatever questions you want to ask me, and then we'll just kind of go from there. So I'm going to defer the mic to you for a bit and let you ask me whatever you want.
Okay, sounds good. So let's talk a little bit about your upcoming issue and some of the summer destinations that are on your radar.
Yeah, the summer edition is always important to us. It kind of is that middle of the year leading to our Best of Awards edition that comes out at the end of the year. But our summer edition, historically over the last 33 years, has been the one that really is the anchor. Mm-hmm. People travel in the summer. You know, school's out. You know, people want to go with their kiddos. We've talked about this before too, but, you know, multi-generational travel is just on the up. And, you know, it'll be like taking your grandparents, you know, your mom and the grandkids with you and stuff like that. And it's just awesome how that has really happened nowadays. But for the summer, we like to talk about beaches. Mm-hmm. And we'll be featuring Miami as one of them. And, you know, we've been to Miami, and we were just talking about that recently. And it's a magical place. We definitely want to go back. Mm-hmm. We didn't see enough of it.
Yes.
But that's going to be one of them. We've got Turks and Caicos. It's going to be another beach destination that's going to be in there as well.
Yeah, so let's talk about Grace Bay Beach. So that is a top luxury destination.
Yeah, it's definitely is, and it's one of those places that we're going to be including in the publication too. And really just, I think with all of those places like in Turks and Caicos and Miami, we're talking to different properties, right, and different resorts, and they really, what is unique about the area, mm-hmm. And it's not about just the properties and how they look, mm-hmm. but really we want to focus on properties and resorts and destinations that make you feel, mm-hmm. Because travel nowadays is really, what is the experience behind it? And again, we've talked about this many times, but experiential travel, now they're actually naming it, is so important. What are you going to feel when you leave that destination, when you leave the place, and what's going to make you, what's going to stay with you?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing.
Yeah, creating those connections and having those moments that are just, I mean, you have them forever.
I agree. I mean, we did it before, talked about Aquilina Resort there in Miami. Mm-hmm. We still talk about that today, till today. And, you know, we've said that so many times where you're able to kind of go and take what they're doing and figure out, how is this working for me? Mm-hmm. You know, it's just being valued. Right. You know, I think nowadays in the hospitality industry, it comes from hospitality, right? Mm-hmm. You think, oh my God, I just got to be nice. Well, it goes beyond that, because sometimes, you know, a front desk could be having a bad day. You know, housekeeping could be having a bad day. And all of a sudden it's a reflection of the property. Right. But I have found, doing this for over 33 years now, that when you have a great leader and a great team, all of a sudden staff goes out of their way, mm-hmm. to make it memorable. And what are some of the things that make it memorable? Well, we talked about it earlier. You're talking about saying your name, mm-hmm. you know, Mr. and Mrs. Leos. It's a handwritten note, you know.
The little things.
It's the little things. It's knowing what you want almost before you know you want it.
Right.
You know, it's being at the front desk and asking us, hey, can we make dinner reservations at one of our restaurants for you and get that taken care of? When, you know, you're just checking in the morning and you're like, I'm not even thinking about dinner yet.
Yeah.
But you are. And that's what really stands out for a good travel experience.
Well, I read that international travel is really being dominated by Caribbean, Mexico, Europe, and bucket list adventure trips are coming back as well.
Mm-hmm. There's a question there? Well, I'll go with a statement because they're all right. I mean, that's true. Mexico, Caribbean is huge. I mean, like I said, I've been able to be at the Atlantis in the Bahamas. That just stands out. I mean, and you're talking about these properties in these areas in Mexico. You know, you've got great properties in Cabo, Cancun, and Cozumel, who, yeah, there's a lot of resorts out there, but there gives you the opportunity to pick the right one for you. And so when we talk about multi-generational travel, you're talking about family, because a lot of times in the summer it's family travel, right?
Right.
So you think about what's the best bang for my buck for me and my kiddos, and how can we be so that they experience a great place? Not only are they having something to do, but we have something to do as well. So I think one of the things for travel in the summer is that. Where can we go that it just encapsulates everything, but there's a memorable experience behind it? Whether you're flying there, whether you're driving there, I think that matters too. And then when you're talking about bucket list, man, having done the podcast now for 130 episodes, I always ask my guests, hey, what's some of your bucket list travel spots? And it just really, you start thinking about how amazing this world is.
Yeah.
And just how small it really is when you think about it, and how you just want to go to all those places.
Of course.
And I think when people get the opportunity to have a bucket list, it's imperative on them to try and do it. So what's a place that you want to go on a bucket list?
Yellowstone.
Oh, I can tell you. I'm going to ask this question, but I already know why. Why do you want to go to Yellowstone?
Well, because we just got done watching the series, and man, my eyes were swollen from all the crying on the last episodes. Yep. But, I mean, it's just so serene and so magical. I mean, I can only think of how beautiful the views and the mountains and the wildlife. I mean, it's completely different than San Antonio, Texas.
Well, San Antonio has a lot of beauty and charm too, but
it
yes.
Does.
When you see things on TV, when you see things on Instagram, when you see things on YouTube, a lot of, with 4K cameras and all of that stuff, it's great how it makes it look, but nothing compares to being there.
In person.
We go places and we're like, oh, let's get a picture of that sunset, and it just does not do it justice. And so, I knew you were going to say Yellowstone, and I knew the reason why. Yes, we were late to the dance. We showed up late and just finished watching Yellowstone when that show was already done a few months back. But it is a place that beckons you to want to visit, and I think it's one of those places that would change you when you leave. I think committing yourself to nature and just what God made in this world for us to see that kind of goes back to even like, good friend of mine, Chris, going to Antarctica. And he tried to explain to us how magically beautiful that place was.
I'm sure.
And he's like, I can't take a photo and it doesn't do it justice. I can't show you a video, doesn't do it justice. And so I've had several of my podcast guests that are said Antarctica's on my podcast, is on my bucket list as well. So.
Yeah. Well, I feel too that if you go somewhere it just grounds you in a sense, right? Because we live in such a busy hustle and bustle of a world. Slowing down and taking in those moments are just so important for your soul. I feel like it just grounds you and makes you grateful for just being a part of it.
Well, I didn't know we were going to get deep. We were getting deep here, but we're going into the emotional side of travel. But I mean, damn, that is good. But it's perfect because a lot of times there's a lot of people that travel somewhere and they need a vacation from their vacation.
Right.
And because they're always like, we got to go here, we got to do this, we got to do this and that. And it's like, just slow down a little bit, take a breath, take it all in, and just experience where you are and experience that day. It could be, hey, we're going to sit at the beach today and do nothing. But really like hear the waves, hear the sounds, hear the seagulls, hear the sip of the margarita, feel that on your lips and just be able to go, how am I present in this moment? Because you're right, we are in a more type of society. We're bombarded by so much. I just did a presentation on that. But you really think about, how can I ground myself?
Right.
And that's why from a wellness side too, wellness travel, which is important in our magazine too, is taking off. It's a multi-billion-dollar, soon-to-be trillion-dollar industry. But why? Because people want to experience wellness. Do you know that there are actually sleep retreats?
Sleep retreats?
Sleep retreats. Like literally to get your body reset, to get you grounded so that you come back rested, better prepared, understanding how your sleep patterns should integrate with your real life patterns. But there's places out there in this world that are doing that. And it's like selling, I'm going to go sell you bottled water. Well, back in the old days, we're like, we used to drink from the water hose when we were out, outside playing, right?
The manguera.
You're like, I'm never going to buy a bottle of water. I go to the sink and get it. Then, all of a sudden, bottled water comes out and you're like, okay, I'm going to buy a bottle of water. Well, that's the same thing with like these specific type of wellness retreats. It's people need to feel grounded. And I'm glad you brought that up. That was totally unscripted. But wellness is a huge portion of summer travel too.
Mm-hmm.
If we can encourage any of our listeners out there, it's really to take your experience and experience it.
Right.
I mean, it's that simple.
I mean, I think of what would be my ideal, morning of a vacation. And if we were to go to Yellowstone, let's say, for instance, we go, getting up in the morning, grabbing a cup of coffee and sitting outside, drinking it would be, that would be it for me.
I would add with a buffalo roaming in front of us too.
Sure.
That would be amazing. But yeah, you're right. I think that would be the perfect place. Being in nature is important. I think that's a good grounding atmosphere. It's probably why we like to go hiking and go on trails, especially when we travel as well. We're active. And there's some people that are active. Cool. There's adventure travels. We're talking about those things too. But also the ability just to be. And we cannot stress that enough to all of our listeners out there, the importance of just being in the moment, being present, and eliminating a little hustle and bustle so your vacation doesn't become a job.
Right.
I mean, that's just as plain and simple as it can be.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's some good thoughts right there. Do you have any other questions?
I don't think so. I know, Mexico City is getting a huge surge of interest, and Costa Rica, I mean, you've got eco and adventure travel. So
we're actually going to have Costa Rica also in our publication this coming up. That's one of our 5 national destinations that we're going to have. So Costa Rica is massively, ecotourism is a big deal there. Mm-hmm. And ecotourism, we just finished Earth Day, a few weeks ago. And so people are really starting to focus on how can I have sustainable travel? How can I put that into our property, but also not just for show, but for real. And so how are we being sustainable? How are we helping the environment? But also how are we progressively helping our guests understand the importance of where they are, but also leaving the place better than what you found it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like that regenerative travel atmosphere where, we go there and maybe we're like, we're going to go plant some trees while we're here in Costa Rica, or we're going to go do this and help out at a shelter or something like that. It's about leaving that place better than when you found it. And that's just kind of should be the mantra for our lives, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
I just made that up. But I mean, no, I didn't make that up, but it's true. I mean, I've said that before, and I think it's important. And when you're talking about, ecotourism, wellness, and then summer, it's really about how are we going to make our experiences better, taking some of the nuggets that you're going to get from here on our show, and how is it going to make you better planning for your trips, planning for what you want to do, whether you have your kiddos, whether you're with your parents and it's multi-generational travel, or maybe it's just the husband and wife going away, and whether it's for a weekend or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How are you going to make that special? So it's always good to have you on the podcast. And I like answering questions because usually, like I said, for 100 25 of the episodes, I'm the guy who's asking the questions. But sometimes I have things to say. And so I love to push you out of your comfort zone and have you ask me these questions because I think it's important. I think it's important for our listeners to hear the voices of the hotel guide. And I like the fact that you come into the studio to show that you're a part of it and that you're a big part of what we're doing here at the Hotel Guide. So it's not just Edward and his board of advisors, but he's got a outstanding partner and wife who's there supporting along the way and giving me insights. He does give me direction on what we should feature and who we should talk. And hey, I was on YouTube and I think you should interview this person, or on Instagram. So thanks for being on the show again.
Of course. Happy to be a part of this.
That's a great answer. That is the answer. I love that. But hey, to all of our listeners, readers, everyone out there in the world listening to us, we love our little podcast and we love our listeners. Follow us on The Hotel Guide. It's pretty simple. We're a small business here in San Antonio, Texas, but we've got big plans and big ideas, and we want to help people travel and make more memories, and being able to do that through all the people that we interview in our podcast on a daily basis, or on a weekly basis, I should say. But thank you for being on our show. Follow us, like us, subscribe us to us. And until next time, everyone, take care, and we'll talk soon.